Welcome to Malcom Read's How to Barbecue Right, a podcast where we talk about barbecue, share recipes, and discuss all things delicious. And now, here's your host, Malcom and Rochelle Reed.
Hey, welcome back to the How to Barbecue Right podcast. I'm your host, Malcom Reed, and joined by my lovely, talented wife, Miss Southern Chelle, fresh off vacation. We got Tyler with us today. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Glad to be back.
Glad to be back. What did we miss? 2 weeks?
Yeah, we were only supposed to miss one, but we got stranded in Miami for a couple days.
Got delayed there, I do tell you. Did they actually call that a tropical depression, or what was it?
I don't know.
I watched the news, and it was just copious amounts of rain and wind. It was enough to flood southern Florida.
I know.
They called it, when we were there, it's like the governor announced a state of emergency or whatever, declared a state of emergency, and they weren't flying planes and they weren't letting people drive because the interstates were flooded.
When you told me that, I wanted to cry. We're never getting out of Florida.
All you want to do is get home. You know, we only have so many days we can take off, and then it just messes everything up. We finally got out of there on like I don't even call that a red eye. What is it? What do you call it when the plane takes off at like 2 a.m. and we get home about 4 a.m.? It wasn't a far flight. It's like 2 hours, 40 minutes.
Yeah. I know.
By the time we took off,
I'll never fly through Miami again.
Not
go
direct
into
from Memphis.
Yeah.
That is not a route that I suggest anybody take. They only fly once a day, and it's like normally at 10:52 p.m.
And there's no driving.
No, I done, you know, at the hotel, we finally found a hotel, and it did have a Hertz rental car right there at it. I was like, well, we can rent a car and make it to Atlanta, and then we can either drive or fly from there or whatever. I was looking at how long it would take us to drive, and then all the routes that I was looking at, they were like shut down.
And it's like 16 hours anyway.
It was going to be crazy.
Yeah. Anyway, so we're back.
We did watch lizards from the hotel. They had like signs up, don't feed the iguanas down there.
And we got excited. We were like, ooh, iguanas.
Yeah. And Michael spotted one like from our hotel. He's like, I think that's one down there on that log. So y'all went down there and snuck up on it, and then we went down and walked and saw all kinds of iguanas. They're everywhere.
They were little, though. I was expecting iguanas.
Yeah.
They were like, you know, what?
12 inches.
Yeah.
They're fast, too. You couldn't catch them.
And they would run on their back feet, their back legs. Anyway, just a quick recap. This summer, we're going to be at Mitten Barbecue Supply in Grand Rapids on July 13th.
That's coming up fast.
That's coming up really fast. And then we're going to be in Oxford at Circle and Square Brewery on July 27th.
That's a good one. If y'all are in the area, come on down to Oxford and check out the brewery.
If you're up in the Michigan area, go to Grand Rapids on July 13th.
Yeah, and that's a barbecue kind of supply store. Mm-hmm. And we're going to be doing some demo stuff, giving out some food, shaking hands.
There's going to be a lot of stuff going on there. I think they're going to have a lot. So it's
a lot more going on, yeah.
Yeah. And this past weekend, we had our burger contest.
We did. We
made it back in time for the burger contest.
It was hot, but it was a success. There was, I guess, 20 teams competed in it. Man, they had the parking lot smelling good. We cooked a ton of burgers, pulled out the event grill. We don't use that thing very often. It's one of those, I know people have seen them. It's those big, long, like propane, what is it, 6 or 8 burners? Takes 2 bottles. You put a bottle on each end and you fire it up. You can cook a ton of hamburgers on it one time.
Oh, yeah. We cooked a couple hundred burgers. I'm not sure exactly how many, but we
bought 200. I don't know if we cooked every one of them, but we cooked a bunch of them.
We passed them all out, too.
Hamburger, cheeseburger, or hot dog. You dress it your way. If you want to put the blue plate to it, you can.
I was going to say we had blue plate out there.
Mustard, mayo. We had mustard, ketchup, some kind of onion.
And pickles.
If that ain't a good burger in the summertime, I don't know what is. Shout out to Michael Scott. He helped me. He ran the grill with me.
And Primo Grills came. And passed
Primo
out
Grills.
Some food too.
I had some of the sausage they were doing and some of the chicken they were doing. It was delicious. They have a cool trailer. Like they've got one that's got like XL, a regular, and then 2 of their. Was it Broil King, Tyler? That was their brand, I think.
Broil
Master,
I think. Yeah.
They had some of those on there, but it's a flip-up trailer, and it's ready to go. And then they rolled out some of their grills, and they had a full-blown setup going. Those guys are pros.
I told the guy it looked like a Primo museum, like on the side of it.
Yeah, it kind of did.
Had like all their models and stuff. That was really cool.
And we're starting to work on a date for the next one we're going to do because I think it's going to be more closer to football season. And we'll be talking about that, but we're going to do a wing contest. I may have to judge that one because I love me some chicken wings.
Yeah, we had the fire department come and judge this burger contest, which worked out really great.
Man, yeah, those guys were ready to judge.
I'd love to do like where we could put the games on a big screen outside or something.
We may not be able to tell people that. Isn't that illegal? Like you can't show them to the public or something like that?
Yeah.
I thought it was
like
as long as they're not paying to be there. Like I think it's okay, maybe.
Oh. Yeah, like if I got my TV and I'm watching them.
Yeah.
I can see that. We could just encourage people to bring a TV and pop it up. It'd be like a tailgate. That's what I'm imagining. The wing thing being more of a wing tailgate.
That's the way the burger contest kind of felt.
It felt like a tailgate party, didn't it?
Yeah.
Everybody had their own little tent table.
Yeah. You put your pop-up tent up. You got a table. You got some chairs. Hang out for a couple hours. Cook a burger. Go home.
Did you try any of the burgers?
I didn't get to try any of them.
I didn't either.
I tried a few of them, and there were some really, really good ones, and there were some ones that were okay.
Did y'all
like
take pics of the burger entries and stuff or anything?
We did. We had. I mean, the thing is like we had them in these big boxes, and we didn't want to open the boxes after they turned them in because we didn't want to like mess with them in any kind of way, you know.
Yeah, alter them.
So we tried to take. They did have like a viewing area in the top, so we kind of took it through there and kind of went from there. And then I had McKenna walking around in the judging area taking pictures of the ones she could get when they opened them.
Yeah. I didn't get to see any of that.
Yeah, I didn't either.
We were prime time out front giving out burgers during all that.
I will say this. I bought some of these little fly fans off of Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
They're like just a little tabletop, about how tall would you say?
Miniature solar
It's a foot
windmill.
tall. Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
And you turn them on, it's supposed to keep flies away. And I was like, I've seen them be used other places.
Yeah.
I was a little skeptical. Those things work.
They did. They kept when you turned them off, the flies came.
I know.
I guess they're scared of them. I don't think it's generating air that's messing with them. It's got to be the movement of it because it's not turning very fast, really.
Yeah, it's almost like two little sparkly things on this stick that moves around. But it worked really well. I wonder if it'll work.
Where'd you get those?
Amazon.
Yeah.
I wonder if it would work for like when you're cooking. Like set them up when you're actually cooking and seasoning and, you know.
Probably.
Yeah, I'm going to try them.
We'll try
take them down to the smokehouse.
That's a good idea because, man, that's one thing before we had the smokehouse and I was cooking out back at the house, this time of year, flies driving me crazy. If y'all would have seen all the outtakes of me swatting flies, getting out the fly gun and shooting on her.
So we're going to take them down and try them this weekend when you're cooking out there. Because flies get in, even though it's screened in.
It's Mississippi.
Yeah.
You cannot stop them. I don't know how they get in the house. There's always one or two I got to kill. It's my pleasure, though. Look at it as a competition. With the fly gun, what's that thing called? It's not called a fly. It's some kind. It's a salt gun. Salt gun, yeah. That's the best contraption for
bug assault is what we have.
Those things are fun. They
are. I've gotten pretty good at it.
I remember we shot like a mock TikTok that I don't think we ever uploaded, but you were like hunting flies.
Had some bait set up for them. Uh-huh. I remember that. That was a year or so ago.
We need to redo that one. So we went to the Dominican Republic.
We did. First time.
What'd you think?
Amazing. I had so much fun. It's beautiful. Like we stayed in the Punta Cana area, which is on one of the ends of it.
We technically stayed in Cap Cana.
Or Cap Cana, is that where it was?
It's I guess it's a suburb of Punta Cana.
Don't give me the line. We went to the jungle, though.
We went to Monkey Land.
We went to Monkey Land. Oh, I got some good pictures of monkeys all over Chelle. She does not look happy. She was worried about me, like being upset with these monkeys. I was cool with them.
I was fine with them, but when they just jump on you, it's kind of like,
startles you.
It startles you.
Well, I've got some great pictures. I need to get Tyler's. I don't know if you'd approve them. They take you on this little tour. So first off, you ride the bus for, I don't know, it felt like an hour and a half. And you get to see what it's like in the Dominican Republic there. I mean, we passed, and the guy would tell us, it's like, all right, this is the meat shop or whatever. And there's just meat hanging up outside, like quarters of a cow, or you saw all kinds of cuts, whole chickens. And the chickens were always by like where they had the cockfights. He's like, that's where they.
Yeah, because those are legal. Yeah.
They're legal there. Or I guess they don't care.
And everybody uses motorcycles as a taxi.
Yeah, motor taxis.
Motor taxi. And about the time he was telling us about that, this lady comes by riding on the back of one, holding a baby like an infant.
He said, if you value
on a
your
motorcycle,
life, do not take the motor taxi if you value your life.
No helmets.
It's crazy.
But anyway, we went to Monkey Lane. You went deep sea fishing. You and Michael did.
Yeah, we caught a white marlin. And it was like a group effort. It wasn't like one person's going to reel this fish in.
Yeah. It took a while to get it in.
He was angry that day. The guy told us when we're going out, it's going to be smooth, just like this. It was not smooth.
I'm so glad I didn't go.
You would not have liked it. You would have not have fared well. But it was okay because like where we were, you could get out to deep water in like 10 miles. So we didn't go. I think the furthest we went out was 15 miles from the marina.
That's pretty cool.
So it wasn't that far. And then we trolled for whatever kind of fish was biting. It was supposed to have been mahi-mahi, or there's a chance you'd catch a tuna or marlin, and we were the only boat that hooked up to a marlin. It was not marlin season, so you couldn't like get it in to take pictures. They had to let it go once we got it up close to the lead. But man, that thing fought. It felt like an hour. Like when we hooked up to it, we did a half day trip. So you start like at 8:00 and you're done by noon heading back. It was probably about 11 when we hooked into that fish, and it took us, like, we were late getting back in because we fought that fish for an hour, and everybody was beat down.
Oh, I'm so glad I didn't go.
Oh, I didn't. I say we fought it. I didn't fight it. I ran a camera and recorded everybody else doing it.
But you said you enjoyed the boat ride.
Oh, yeah. No, it's fun. I wanted Michael to get every bit he wanted of that fish. He did. I mean, they were falling down. I mean, it was a rocky.
You tried breakfast nachos for breakfast one day.
They're not.
They're not breakfast nachos?
Tyler, you probably help me out because I'm going to murder the pronunciation of it, but chilaquiles? Chilaquiles? Is that how you say it?
I think so.
Chilaquiles? It's like nachos. It's corn chips with the sauce and chicken and like cheese, and then they put 2 eggs over it, and they put salsa verde and pico and all that good stuff.
It was delicious.
It's definitely a recipe that I want to recreate because it's something totally different for bread. I've never had eggs like that, like just old nachos, and man, they go so good.
They were kind of runny too, weren't they?
Yeah, they're just sunny side up eggs.
So you kind of break it, and you get a little bite of the
egg
up
and
in
the
there.
Spiciness of the chili sauce and the
Did it have like
chicken.
chorizo or sauce?
No, it was just chicken. You
chicken.
could get it with beans too, but their beans is like a bean sauce. It's not like a, whole bean. It was almost like a bean puree. So that was like, I did that on half and chicken on half because I was trying to try it. Man, the food I had there was fantastic. I had the best tuna.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I think Michael had tuna every meal because they just had fresh tuna and they cook it right there for you on the flat top. And then some nights we ate it just raw.
Yeah.
They had a sashimi bar set up, and you would just go and say, "All right, I want the tuna," and they'd just slice it for you and dress it up.
Malcolm would be like, "No, whole piece." And it'd stop. It'd be like, "Keep going, keep going."
I love tuna like that.
It was delicious.
You wouldn't think that. I mean, that was when you met me. I wouldn't even eat sushi.
Yeah.
Now it's one of my favorite things because it's so fresh. I love the fresh flavors of it, and when you can add I'm a real big fan of the what's the green stuff called, Tyler?
Cilantro?
No, I love cilantro. The
salsa.
I lost the daggum name.
Wasabi?
Yes, the wasabi. That's what it is. I'm a real big fan of that. I don't know how to use it in other recipes, but
You were eating wasabi with that raw tuna.
Yeah,
It was wasabi, soy.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
I want to go catch it. I've never caught like tuna on a boat. I want to do that and eat it right there on the boat.
I've heard that's awesome.
With some soy and some wasabi.
I've heard that is.
A little lime squeezed over it and just go to it. I tried octopus for the first time, and it was okay.
It was okay.
I mean, it's a unique texture in your mouth when you get those little suction things. Because they had this guy like in part of their seafood feast or whatever they had, seafood fiesta. They had like all these mussels and clams and oysters, and then there was just octopus. And it was just like raw bar. And I was like, these things got to be cooked, right? Because they were up there. And so I said, all right, I'll try it. And I brought it back to the table. And it's just some tentacles, like 3 tentacles. I mean, and so you just try to cut it up best you can and dip it in some soy. And
I tried it.
it was all right.
It was okay.
Yeah, wasn't bad.
I bet it would be better if like it was cooked with a sauce.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it needs to be cooked.
Yeah, maybe we jumped the gun on that.
The only time I've ever seen it's like, you go to the Chinese buffet and they have those little octopus, the little old ones. I've never wanted. Like, would you try one of those?
But those are usually fried, aren't they?
I don't think so. I think they're just
off in there.
Boiled octopus.
For me, that's a straight up texture thing. Like it's way too chewy for me.
Have you tried it?
I have. I have at one of those like Korean barbecue places. Where you grill the stuff right over in front of you.
Yeah.
It's just too chewy, man. I don't know.
It was real chewy.
Do they just bring the tentacle to you and you throw it on the grill?
Yep.
And you get when your tongue hits those little suction things, it kind of
grabs on.
Yeah. To the roof of your mouth.
It's just like,
yeah. It had the flavor of like a crab leg or something. It wasn't like it was fishy. I wouldn't have thought it was fish.
It wasn't fishy, but it wasn't. I wouldn't say a crab leg.
Yeah. You didn't think it had that flavor?
Maybe a little, not as good.
Yeah.
Not as good as a crab leg.
So do you like squid better? Like calamari?
Yeah, if it's cooked right. But I've had some tough calamari that it's not worth eating.
It's like rubber band.
Yeah. Where's the place we went in New Orleans? It's right outside New Orleans. I think it was a Vietnamese restaurant.
Ton Dien.
That was the best calamari I've ever had. It just melted in your mouth. The breading was light. When you get it like that, it's a delicacy. It's something really good.
Well, I've had squid on like calamari on like hibachi at the what do they call it?
I've never had
table.
That, yeah.
And it's not like rings like you think like fried calamari is.
Is it strip?
It's more of a strip. Yeah, it's more of a steak, and they chop it up and they do it on the flat top there. It's pretty good. I mean, it is a tougher texture. It reminds you a lot of conch. Like you've ate conch. It has that same mouth chew to it.
Yeah. And I like conch, okay, if it's cooked right and seasoned right.
Yeah.
Like a good conch salad. It's pretty good.
Or fried.
Yeah, or a fried, conch fritter. I've had some really good conch fritters, and I've had some that I'm like, I can do without this. Anything else you had on your vacation that you wanted?
So much stuff I had.
I know, and I kept saying, you were like, I want to make a recipe out of this. I'm like, put it in your notes.
Like, so they did this. They had an Italian restaurant at the resort we were at. This was the Hyatt Ziva. That's what it was called, Cape Cana. And they had was it called the Needle and Thread?
Yeah.
Needle and Thread. And they did a gnocchi with like a ragu. Is that what it was called?
Yes.
And then they had the entree was a short rib. And man, when you put those two together, like they didn't serve it together, but I didn't even order the short ribs. I think you had them. And I said, well, let me try that with this. And I said, oh, you got to try it. It was amazing.
The gnocchi with
the short rib was cooked just to melt in your mouth, and it went with that sauce, and it went with those little gnocchi dumplings. That was a really good bite.
We went to a restaurant that was a blind butcher.
That was one of the coolest dining experiences I've ever had.
Yes, it was really weird. You walked in, and it looked like an old school butcher. Like they had fake meat hanging. It was very old school, and then they would lead you behind the secret door.
It looked like a refrigerator, old timey refrigerator. They'd open it, and that was the entrance into the restaurant.
And you walked in, and there's a girl swinging on a big circle right above your head. Yeah.
No, it was cool. It was kind of a dinner and a show because the whole time they had these dancers and musicians going around the restaurant, and they would play a little bit and do a little song, and then the service at that place, it was like.
I've never been to a Michelin star, but the service was of that level.
Like you had 5 waiters. You had the guy that came by and scraped the crumbs off the plate and tightened the table back up, and you never knew he was there. If you've ever been to one of those experiences where it's just like every service, they're replacing the fork every time you use one, and it's not like I'm used to eating, at all. But it was really good. The food was great.
Yeah, the food was good. The service was excellent.
Yeah, that made it.
We had a tomahawk. Me and you split a tomahawk. I've had better tomahawks that you've cooked.
Well,
it's hard.
Compare that. But what was good, they did a beef nigiri. That was good. It was like a Wagyu filet that they had sliced thin, and they did it kind of sushi style over a little piece of rice. And that was excellent.
And you had the wasabi and the soy and everything to go with it. It was a good bite.
They had some good, the oysters in there were good too.
Yeah. We tried so much because they brought you like multiple little bites. I don't even remember everything we tried.
What was the monkey thing? It was like a little mug, and they brought out this frozen nitrogen tank or something, and I don't know how they spun it, but it made it looked like hair on it. It was almost like cotton candy, but it wouldn't. It was some kind of, I don't know.
I think it was spun sugar.
Foam or something, or I don't know how they did it. That was cool. And on the inside, it was like a chocolate mousse or something, frozen
like
mousse.
You were eating monkey brain.
Yeah. Reminded you of something off Indiana Jones.
Yeah. So while we were gone, or as soon as we got back, we released a garlic butter reverse sear filet.
That was kind of, that was kind of my Father's Day recipe, but I didn't say Father's Day. It was just a good steak. that's probably the best filet I've ever cooked in my life.
I've seen a lot of people cooked it over Father's Day weekend.
Really, if you couldn't tell in that recipe, I was like, I didn't have no words for it, how good it was. And it's so simple. I mean, it's just a filet.
So where'd you get the?
Now that came from Kevin down at the butcher shop, and his meat is top notch anyway. But you could buy those at Sam's or Costco. It's hard to find the whole beef tenderloins at your regular grocery store. Like I don't see them at Kroger or Walmart. They're already cut up if they have decent fillets. But Sam's and Costco is a great place to get them, and you can find the prime ones too. Which this one, I believe it was Wagyu.
That might have been.
Why it was so good. But man, it was phenomenal. And I mean, you do save money by buying the whole, they call it the Pismo beef tenderloin, because it means it still has the head, the tail, the chain, all that on it. It's just the whole cut of meat. And you break it down yourself. Well, if you can pay to have it. No, it's not hard at all. And a lot of it, you don't even need a knife for. You can take your fingers and separate the seams and just about pull it apart. Now you got to use the knife to get rid of the silver skin, to dock the head and the tail off, but it all seams out really easy. Once you get it separated, it's easy to cut, and you have that centerpiece, which is where you get your fillets. That's kind of the Chateaubriand, and that's what you cut into however thick a fillet you want. You know, most of the time you see a fillet, it's an 8 or 10 or 12 ounce fillet, just normal sizes.
You made a pretty big one, do you?
Yeah, I would say mine are more 12 ounces.
I was going to say yours are close to 12, 14.
Then I got 6 or 7 good fillets out of it, plus all the extra meat. And I've got that extra meat in the freezer down there now that I'm going to do some stuff with. I kind of got an idea what I want to do with some of it.
But it makes all kind. We like to use it for stir fry.
Yeah, it does really good for stir fry. But I've cut it up, made little garlic steak bites with it. It's really good.
You could probably get 2 more.
Use that same garlic butter. I mean, you can even do it in the air fryer. It makes them good, but they're really good. They're really good on flat top or cast iron like that, because you don't want to overcook them, and it's easy to do when you got it cut into little chunks. Yeah.
So you trimmed it.
Trimmed it, seasoned it with, first I put a little Worcestershire on it, and then seasoned it really simple, just TX, really heavy. Do
you think that Worcestershire affects or helps with the color of the final product, or do you just use it for flavor
kind of both.
And a binder? So you do think
you get some of that. I mean, it's a dark liquid anyway.
Yeah, and it kind of stains.
So it kind of stains the outside a little bit. I mean, you get some flavor from it. I don't know if you could taste that it wasn't there. But you can definitely see once you cook it that it makes that outside get that really pretty brown steak color instead of being a gray looking piece of meat, which sometimes you can get that out of steak. I'd rather have it look like it's dark. And
me too. Like that's half of the battle right there.
Making it look like that.
Mm-hmm. And
you could use whatever you wanted. You could, if you've got another sauce you like to use, you could use just soy sauce would be good too. I've even used some of that, what's it called? The Maggie browning. Liquid. I don't know. It's browning sauce.
I've seen people
I've used that on steaks.
Yeah. I've seen people use that kitchen bouquet.
Yeah. That's kind of what I was thinking about. Yeah.
Which is just a browning liquid. Yeah.
That just stains the outside, gives it some color.
Have you ever tried it like just on its own? Like
That's horrible. It's real minerally tasting or something. It doesn't taste near as good as Worcestershire.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of Worcestershire. Especially on steak.
W sauce would work on it. It'd give it a good flavor like that and give you some color too. But it does help your seasoning stick. I mean, so that's why I like to use it.
Worcestershire, and you kept it simple, TX.
Yeah, and I coated the outside pretty heavy, poured out some, rolled the edges on it, so I got a nice crust on the outside. Let them set for a little bit while the grill got good and hot. Kept a 2-zone fire going in the Primo. It's a good time to tell you about Primo.
Great time.
The How to Barbecue Right podcast is brought to you by our friends at Primo Grills. Chelle, Did you know that Primo is the only ceramic grill made right here in the good old USA?
What? Are you telling me that Primo grills are proudly crafted here in the USA, ensuring top-notch quality and support for local craftsmanship?
I sure am. Plus, Primo Grill not only delivers mouth-watering flavor, but because of their innovative oval design and superior ceramic construction, Primo Grills also gives you a ton of cooking versatility.
Whether you're smoking low and slow or searing a steak to perfection, Primo Grills gives you the consistent heat distribution for mouth-watering results every time.
What she said, y'all. Y'all visit PrimoGrill.com and check them out. And for that 2-zone fire in the Primo, I just use some lump coals on one side of the grill and then keep my little diverter and the cooking grate on the opposite side. So I've got a cool zone. I started them steaks off, the fillets over on that cool side, put me a probe about halfway through the middle of one of them so I can watch my internal temperature.
How do you pick which one?
Usually I just go for a big one. I don't really have one in particular I'm looking for. I just want to know, because they're all going to be about the same. And so I'm looking for 115. Once I get them to there, I want to stop them. And I'm going to let them carry over a little bit. So it took, I think it was about 35, 40 minutes, something like that, maybe 45 tops to get them to 115 degrees. And once they got there, I pulled them off. And I left that probe in there so I could watch what they were doing. Because what I'm wanting to see is, all right, how high is it going to carry over? And then what's that maximum it's going to reach where it drops back down? And that's where I want to go ahead and put my sear on them, because I don't want to hit them too quick to where they just boost and keep carrying over. That's when I'm going to overcook them. So I want that even temperature all the way across from edge to edge. And that's how it keeps it, like, instead of having the outside seared and then you got that gray area and then you got your doneness and then it goes back to gray. I don't want that. I want it to be even all the way across it. Sear, and then that perfect medium rare all the way across, and then back to sear. And that's what you get by letting it carry over like that. So mine climbed up. I want to say it went almost 10, 11 degrees.
It went up to
126 or something like that. And then it dropped back down. When I saw it drop back to 125, I knew that was time to go. And that took, I don't know, probably 15, 20 minutes. But it gave me the time to make the garlic butter. This is what gives this steak its flavor, is the garlic butter sauce.
I want you to start putting this garlic butter on all the steaks now.
Just like that?
Yes.
All you do, it was super simple. You just take a shallot and some garlic and saute it in some butter. Once it gets, actually, I sauteed that in a little bit of olive oil and then pull it off to the side and add my butter to the cast iron skillet and stir it and melt it. Once it gets melted in, hit it with some parsley. That's all it is.
No more seasoning.
No more. I hit it with a little bit of TX just to keep, and I use salted butter. I don't use the unsalted stuff. That's for bacon. Use something that's got some flavor. And it's not going to get it too salty. I promise you're not going to get these fillets too salty. They're a dense piece of meat, and that beef can take it.
You did it on the grill, but you could make that garlic butter.
Oh, you can do it on stovetop. Yeah,
have it
easy.
ready to go. Yeah,
easy. And then when you got ready to put them to sear the outside, once they climbed up and started to fall back, I brushed the top side really good with the garlic butter, put the steak down, and brushed the backside real quick. So you're getting all this butter dripping and it's firing up. Oh, it's rocking. So, I mean, if you got hairy arms like I do, you better watch it, because you're going to sear them off, because you get you some long tongs, because you're really just trying to go a minute on each side. But you got to watch them. You don't want them to burn up. So if you got a really hot grill like I did, I'm constantly looking at it, flipping it. And it's about 2 minutes total to get the sear that I want, and that's not going to change that internal temperature.
Per side or?
No, it's like a minute and a minute. It should be right. But if it needs a little more, that's okay too. But it's going to, that's what you're shooting for.
And you're basting
hot enough grill and basting it with butter that whole time, keeping that fire. You want that flame jumping up and kissing it. That's what's searing it. It's really giving that outside of that steak a great flavor. And it's not burnt. It's not a burnt flavor at all. It's just seared beef. And then once you get that done, you move them over and you can let them rest. They don't need to rest long at all at that point. We're really ready to serve, but I say 5 minutes. And then cut them, and they're going to be perfect temperature all the way across. You got that extra butter to, you don't even need a steak sauce or anything. If you want to dip them in some more of that butter that's left over. But it's going to have so much juice. I like to put them in a little tray with full, because as they're sitting there resting, that juice is what's coming out of them. I've got that too. I'll take that and use that to sop it up, or mix that with the butter, and then all of a sudden you've got a steak garlic butter. Oh, man.
You can dip bread off in there.
It was so good.
You can
serve it with a big old loaded potato. And I did the recipe for that loaded baked potato on TikTok, wasn't it, Tyler?
Mm-hmm. That's a good one.
Yeah, it was real good. That's a
Basically,
surefire way to make the easiest baked potato you ever made.
You just throw a potato on the grill until it hits 202.
That's the whole ticket on that. Cook your potatoes to 202. If there's anything to take away from that recipe, there's no guessing. Put a probe in a potato.
That skin was amazing though, because I think you put the Alfregonis chimichurri on it and
the olive oil.
Gosh, it was so good.
I usually do that and some TX or some AP just to give it that salt, pepper, garlic element, and then with the herbs and the Alfregoni stuff, man.
That's what every time we've ever served that to someone, everybody's like, "How did you get the skin so good
on the potato?"
Yeah, I don't ever eat potato skin, but
most people don't. And I don't like wrapping the potato in the foil. Like you see some restaurants, they serve the potato wrapped up. I guess that's an old classic way to do it.
Yeah.
But the skin is so good when it's done. When you season it up and you put a little oil on it, and you got all those herbs and flavors, and it takes on a flavor of its own.
I wonder where the wrapping the potato in foil came from, because that's how I grew up. That's how it was served to me, even at home.
So I remember my dad doing them, and they would just throw the potatoes in the bottom of the grill on the coals in the foil. Maybe it was to protect them.
Oh, yeah.
But then I can see restaurants always doing it because
you can hold them.
They can hold them a lot longer, and they're ready to go. You just grab it out, But they're never as good. That skin is not good to eat. Once it's been wrapped in foil. Like I said, it won't let it do its thing.
No, that was one of the better steaks I've had in a long, long time.
Those potatoes are good like that with that outside, like quarter the potato, and toss them in a pan and do like oven roasted potatoes or grill roasted potatoes.
Oh, you're talking about the little baby new potatoes?
Yeah, you quarter those and then season them that same way, and it gets all over it. Man, that's excellent. And
you roast them if they get a little. I like it when they're got a little bit of crunch on the outside and they're real soft and
they're really good,
potatoey on the inside. You also got a beef flanken rib recipe that came out this week.
I love eating those things.
I do too. So what are they?
It's a short rib. It's the short rib, but they take it and they cut them into crosswise. So you get this strip of meat that's got like two little pieces of the bone in it.
And it's got a little fat mixed in there with the meat and the bone you even got a little marrow if you want to get in there. And
they're so easy. Like usually just marinate them, throw them on a hot grill, get them charred up, and then take them off and let them rest just a little bit. And it's not like melt in your mouth texture. It's a chewy texture.
Yeah, it's a chew.
It's eating meat off a bone. But man, it gets so much flavor from that meat searing and the fat getting hot and caramelized. And it's just the flavor of the marinade on it. They're super easy to do. And I don't know why people don't eat more of them. They're really good.
I've only really seen them in like Asian type cuisine.
Well, they do them in a lot of Mexican restaurants will have them, or you'll see them, and what do they call them? Tyler's tablitas, maybe? That's what it is. I think that's how you say it.
Tyler's your dictionary.
He's my go-to Spanish guy. If I have a question, he usually knows the answer to it. But I think that's what they're called. But they do them more of like in a red chili sauce kind of. So the way that I do them, they're like in a soy with showery marinade, kind of Asian flavors go really well with it.
I think so. Have you ever glazed them? For this time, you just marinated them, grilled them, and served them. Have you ever glazed them at the end?
I've done it with an Asian sauce.
An Asian sauce,
and then kind of made it sweet and sticky. It was kind of like a Korean barbecue thing, almost like Tyler, you can help me on that one too. Is it bulgogi?
Yeah, bulgogi.
Yeah, that's a beef bulgogi. They'll do a lot of those with the flanken rib cut. Tablitas. That's how you say it.
Or Mexican style flanken cut short ribs.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Same exact cut.
And then grilled.
Yep. And they'll eat them with tacos or something. Or just with rice.
Because you've done them a few times, but you've only done them Asian style.
Oh, we had them in the Dominican. They were cut thicker. They called them beef ribs. Then it wasn't.
When did we have these?
So they had, how they had a grill set up by the pool and they were just doing meat?
Oh, yeah, we did.
Yeah.
They were good.
They were really good, but it was a different take. It was like, I don't even know if it was salt only probably. Mm-hmm. And they were just grilling them right there, but it was a little thicker than the flanking cut. It was the same cut, a double bone piece, but it was thicker. It was probably like twice the size. So instead of being a half inch, it was almost an inch thick. And then they served it with a chimichurri, and you picked it up and ate it with, no knife and forks. You're just gnawing on the bone.
Yeah, they called them beef ribs. Yeah.
They were good.
You get that char grilled flavor with those because you're not smoking them. You're not doing anything. You're just char grilling them, and that's
You could smoke them and take them further, get them a little more tender, and then probably char them at the end if you wanted to, or hit them with the glaze.
You should try.
I've never done them that way, but I don't see why they wouldn't be good. You could season them up like you do brisket and braise them down.
Ooh, brisket style beef short rib.
Yeah, that'd be good. They'd be good like that. Just do a pan of them and a pan of sauce, and then get them to where they're all just
some butter in that pan.
Oh yeah, get them really intensely rich.
So once you pulled them off the char grill, you put them in some foil and wrapped them up tight, and
just hold them for 20 minutes.
Yeah,
and that kind of lets them carry over and finish because I don't tempt those things. I'm just looking for the char. I'm looking to get that outside seared, and once I get the color right on them, that's when I'm going to hold them, and I'm going to let the whole mass of them, like being in there and wrapped in the foil, let that carry over and give it plenty of time. And they probably did carry over 10, 15 degrees.
Yeah, probably helped them
gets them
tender.
to, I'm hoping they're medium rarish. I'm not taking them to like 200 or nothing like that. They're still in that, low end of not well done.
They're pretty good. And I think that would be a really good, like, appetizer.
That's usually, that's where we saw them in the Vietnamese restaurant. It's not a main course. It's an app.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times they'll just serve it with some scallion, maybe a little rice.
If you wanted to serve it for like a dinner, you could do rice.
You just need to cook a bunch of them. Because,
yeah.
There's not a lot of meat. You're just gnawing around the bone. And so you could probably eat, like a serving would be 3 or 4 to get you 6, 7 ounces of meat.
Yeah.
A man probably eat 6. If you want a ribeye's worth. They're not super expensive, but they're not cheap.
Where'd you find them?
Sam's Club. Yeah.
How many packs was that?
That's a big pack they sell there.
Okay.
It probably has, 2 dozen slices in there.
So it was just one pack that you bought for that?
You got to think it's probably 1 3-bone piece of plate rib that they've cross-cut into about, 16 to 20 slices. So if you could tell your butcher to cut you some flanken beef ribs, you would tell him, about a 1/2 inch thick is where you want them, and just take that, run it right down across all 3 bones.
So I've got some.
I've seen a pork version of them. I don't know if I've ever cooked them, but we need to try them.
Pork flanken ribs?
Mm-hmm. Same kind of way. They would take a slab of spare ribs and probably cut it in 3 or 4 bone long, and then cut them crossways, and you got these little riblets.
Let's do that.
And that's pretty much what Applebee's serves as riblets. It's pork flanken ribs.
Yeah, but I like the idea of doing it.
I may have done a recipes on that, but it's been years ago if I did. But you don't see them all the time, but I have seen them in Kroger before.
But I like the idea of doing the pork ribs and then seasoning it and cooking it with the flavors like you would a pork steak.
Yeah.
Like a little sweet.
That would be really good. Charred up. Sauced at the end.
So I got some questions for you from the community. You ready?
I'm ready. Always ready.
Chris asked, he's seen the beer can chicken recipe and he wants to try it, but he's allergic to beer.
Substitute apple juice or water.
Could you use Coke or?
Yeah, you could use whatever you wanted, really. The liquid, you could use chicken broth. You could buy a can of chicken broth and set it on it.
That's a good idea.
Usually you pour out about half the liquid. They even make a little can. It's like a little stand, and it's its own can. You can pour whatever liquid you want in there. You don't have to use beer.
So you use any liquid, season it up however you want.
Yeah, it's been proven. Like the liquid don't do much. I mean, that's kind of a fatty thing to do. I do it though. I mean, I put beer in there. I mean, I couldn't tell you if it made any difference at all in flavor. But
do you think it does give you more moisture in the chicken?
I don't know. I mean,
every time you've ever done one, they've been really moist.
Yeah, but usually a lot of times I've injected them too, though, and so you'd have to really do a side-by-side comparison to see if there was any difference, and I still don't think there would be that much.
But even when you put them on the grill,
it just looks cool.
Yeah,
cooked it with a can of Miller Lite. I did do a failure with that. Didn't we talk about that recently? Or I talked about it with somebody. It was when I tried to do the beer can turkey, it did not work out.
We bought like a Foster's can of beer.
Oil can.
That was the blackest turkey.
Oh, man. Well, it went south on me bad. I had to scrap that video. That's been years ago, too, though.
Yeah, that was a while ago. So, Randy, this is a good question. And this happened to me a few weeks ago when I was cooking some a beef. It was a roast, and I was making pulled beef with it. So his buddy put a pork butt on the pellet smoker to do an overnight cook. And at some point during the night, grill throws an error code, shuts off. What do you do? Is that pork safe to cook or safe to eat? Do you keep cooking it? What do you do with that situation?
So it kind of depends. You've got to get that meat above 140, and it's got to stay above 140 for at least 4 hours, and then you're supposed to either consume it all or get rid of it or freeze it, drop it down cold again. So if it didn't get there, how long did it stay in that danger zone? If it was below that temperature,
what if it only got to 130 at the highest?
It never did. You probably got 4 hours, and then it needs to be probably. Risk of getting somebody sick is there.
Yeah.
I've done it before, and I've cooked it, and it's been fine. We've ate it and not got sick. I'm not telling anybody else to do it, but really, there's a lot goes in. If he knows what time it went off, say if it went off at 11 o'clock, he didn't know about it till 6, 7 o'clock the next morning, that's probably way too long. I wouldn't chance it. The meat probably soured.
But how do you know? You don't know what time, really, unless you've got
unless you've got a way to know.
Unless you've been tracking it with some sort of device, yeah.
I would see what temperature it was when if he woke up and it's back to below 100 degrees and it's probably been sitting there a long time. I probably would start over. I hate to say that, but
that sucks.
It does.
So what do you do? So the other question I have for you is all about is there an alarm that you can get that's going to let you know, hey,
highs and lows? I'm sure. Yeah.
My pellet grill is.
Some of these pellet grills now you can connect them to the internet and they'll give you updates on what's going on, and you can watch it in your temperatures, or you can get you one of the ThermalWorks that's got the Bluetooth where it'll go to the app and you can watch it on there. And if you see something, you can set highs and lows to where
will it alarm?
If it drops down, it'll send you an alarm. There's all kind of stuff like that you can. Gadgets, do they all work? No, I hadn't had success with many of them. Even the apps on the grills, and I've tried them. I don't know if it's operator error or what, but I'm not an IT guy. And
you've even bought signal boosters and stuff.
Oh yeah, and tried to get them to work, and they still. They end up. They always fail when you don't want them to fail.
Yeah.
They're working great if I'm sitting out there watching the grill. This is great, but heck, I'm out here when I'm off. Going to the store and I need to know what my grill's doing, or I'm at work and I want to, and they, disconnected. That's great. A lot of good that's doing me. I'm not a big proponent of any of that stuff. I don't trust the technology on it. I like to, kind of know what my grill's going to do, but there's times when things happen. Power goes out and grill decides to throw an error code.
When I was cooking that beef roast, I don't even know when it went out, but I knew it was within,
hour or two.
An hour.
It was
probably 30 minutes to an hour. I know it's, only been out that long. And didn't I just throw it in the oven and finish it, I think? I just wrapped it in foil and threw it in the oven.
I think we fired up the other grill.
Yeah, put it on the Memphis.
Yeah, put it on the Memphis grill.
I got burned by the Memphis.
I can see that. Were you cooking some chicken wings?
Yeah. I made you some chicken wings the other night on the...
Chelle has got chicken wings down on a pellet grill.
Good. Pretty good.
They're as crispy as you need them to be.
Yeah. I can't imagine getting them any crispy.
50 minute whole wings.
45, 50 minute. Yeah. 400 degrees.
30 minutes, flip them.
But I do, those I actually pulled out of the package because I had time. I pulled out of the package and put it on a rack and put it in the refrigerator for a couple hours to let them get as dry as possible. Mm-hmm.
That makes all the difference in the skin.
Yeah. And then I oiled them real good, AP'd them, and let them hang out for 30 minutes before I put them on the grill. And then as soon as I put them on the grill, let them go 30 minutes, flip them, another 15, 20-ish.
Toss them in the salsa you're liking.
Mm-hmm. I like them just plain like that sometimes,
I did a little buttery lemon pepper sauce.
It was good.
Stick of butter and probably about a quarter cup of lemon pepper and half of a lemon juice from a real lemon squeezed in there. And you toss them wings in that. Man, they're good.
And if you wait and toss the wings in the sauce right at the end, they keep their crispy.
Yeah, they don't get soggy. Yeah. When they get soggy? When you put them in a container. Like, if you order them at a restaurant, yeah, man, it never fails. They're never as good. But when you get them right off the grill, toss them in a buttery sauce, and then put them out on a plate, just like it makes them, the crispiness stays there.
It's like when you order them at Hooters, and they come fresh to the table. Oh, these are great. You order them and take them home.
Yeah. Soggy, gooey.
Yeah. Raymond asks, how do you smoke a country ham on a pellet grill?
I never smoked a country ham.
I haven't either.
We've always cut it up and fried it or boiled it and put it in meat.
It's pretty salty.
Yeah, I guess you could.
Would it be a whole ham?
Are you cooking it to pull, maybe? I don't know. I honestly don't know, because country ham to me has always been, we get it. Me and my brother will buy my mom and dad one for Christmas a lot of times, when we get it sliced, and my mom always packages it up, like you buy the slice and cooks it for breakfast or puts it in meat, like when she's making greens or beans or peas or something. But we don't smoke it.
That'd be like the ham you get at like Cracker Barrel or something like that, right?
Well, they have city ham and they have country ham. The country ham's the salty ham.
Okay.
Have you ever had the ham that's like, usually at Cracker Barrel, it's like fried, kind of. It's a piece of it and it's real salty.
Yeah.
That's the country ham.
Kind of almost curls up a little bit. Yeah.
That's the country ham.
Gotcha.
I've seen people like cook them to pulled, but and then all they're doing. Well, I did it, but it wasn't with the country ham. Okay. It was just with the regular. I mean, you call it city ham. It's sugar cured ham instead of salt cured ham. That's the difference. But the salt cured hams, the country hams, would be so intensely salty, you almost need to boil them to get some of the salt out of it, and then you could put it on the smoker and cook it and braise it and break it down and shred it. You know, it kind of make like pulled ham that way. But I don't know if he may be talking about how do you turn a ham into a country ham on a smoker, and that's not how they do it. Usually they're salt cured for a long time, and they may put them in a smokehouse and like let them get some smoke at some point. But it's not a long smoking process. It's that salt that's really turning them into that country salt cured ham. And I have no idea. That's a process. I know they used to have a salt box and they'd put it in there for so many days, and they'd hang it, put it up on the shelf for so many days with the low fire going, and it would take, weeks. And then I think sometimes they would even hang them and age them longer than that. Some of those hams would be years old,
So Adam asked, he went to his local grocery store and they had the original Coleman Party Stacker coolers.
The originals?
Yeah. For
man, he should have bought
$34.
Oh, they doubled the price.
He said, are they worth the buy?
Absolutely. $30 for a party stacker? Because you could probably put it on eBay for $50.
Probably. He said, I thought they were discontinued, but are they?
They are, aren't they?
Yeah,
I don't think Walmart has them anymore.
Find them. What do you use your party stacker cooler for? Pretty much everything.
Yeah, holding meat and icing down beers.
Mostly holding meat. But, it will hold all kinds of stuff in it. Like, I have before had to take a bunch of hot dogs to a party it was like a kid thing. Smoked the hot dogs, put them in the buns, wrapped them up, and then lined them up in the party stacker cooler. Man, they were good. The buns got all steamy, and
they make the perfect poolside cooler.
Yeah.
Stand your cans up in it, dump a bunch of ice on it, set it right by the pool.
Easy to reach. So this was a question I thought was really good. They've got some beef ribs, or let's just say beef in general. They pulled it out of the fridge and they opened it up, and there's some of those gray spots on it. Is it still good? Is it no good? What are those gray spots?
I don't know what they are.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I've seen it before.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's,
What do you do?
If it's aged, I'd like to trim that stuff off. If I get it and it just looks off or smells off or anything, I ain't cooking it. I ain't risking it. But if it's something that I think I can trim off and see what's underneath it, and I don't know what it is. I don't know what causes it. I don't know if it's fat pockets. I don't know if it's
age,
just where. I really don't have a good answer for that. I need a butcher's opinion on that. Maybe Kevin will hear this and he can send us an email and tell us, or if we got another butcher out there that can tell us what it is.
I have a bit of an insight on this actually. Yeah. So when I worked at Longhorn, we kept obviously they did all the trim and stuff in the back. Then they'd bring all of the fillets, ribeyes, everything to the cooler. Now in the front of the cooler, all those steaks that have been sitting there a lot of times, like the more the cooler gets open, like the front ones will turn gray, even in just a couple hours. So like chances are if you've been to one of those restaurants and you get a ribeye or something like that, you are probably eating one of those that has already been grayed out and cooked, even the hamburgers and everything, because they're just in little refrigerator drawers. The more they get open, the more the oxidation. Yeah. the more the oxygen touches it, I mean, and they usually taste fine. Like you said, as long as it doesn't have a smell, I think you're kind of in the clear.
Yeah.
But
so maybe it is just age and where air's gotten to it a little more.
Yeah. That's what I would think.
This, I just Googled it real quick. Myoglobin's chemical compound contains iron, and after oxygen exposure, it can oxidize. So
that's what changes the color. I noticed
mean, it could be other things too, so be careful. But don't assume it's just gone bad.
I've seen it. I mean, I've seen it before. Like, you know, in the meat where they put the markdown meat, I always look at there because I found some deals. Like, if it ain't too green, I'll buy it because I like it to have a little age on it. Beef, especially.
You love the
markdown stuff. Yes. I like a good deal on meat.
Well, you like the other stuff, the regular price stuff too.
Yeah.
We need to do a freezer challenge. Cook out your freezer. But I got one more question for you.
All right.
Wrap my 20-pound brisket in butcher paper. It's got an internal of 165. They were wanting to finish in the oven. What temperature do you put your oven on?
So you put it on about 275, 300 and let it roll.
At that point, you got all the smoke.
You got it in a pan. You got it wrapped up, you know. I just put a thermometer in it and put it in there and let it roll. It can be done.
Have you ever done it?
I don't think I've ever finished a brisket in the oven.
I don't remember you finished a brisket in the oven. I've seen you finish maybe a pork butt.
Yeah, I've had a finished pork butt before.
Maybe like it was a time crunch thing or something, but
it's not the ideal way of doing it, but you can do it.
I mean, sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
You gotta do what you got to do. I've had some people tell me they do all their butts like that. They smoke them for a little while and they put them in the oven and finish them. And if you're pulling and chopping it, you probably never know the difference. But
I mean, if you're going to wrap it anyway.
You're going to wrap it anyway, yeah. And with a brisket, I mean, most of the time you're just braising it. You're finishing it like that anyway. I don't know how it'll do like in butcher paper in the oven like that.
Yeah.
I'd probably butcher paper then full. I've seen people do that method where the butcher paper still absorbs some of the moisture, so it doesn't. So you still salvage some of your bark. It's not just soft. So you can do that double layer, and it'll probably work. But most of the time, if I was going to do it in the oven like that, I'd put it in a pan, put some beef probe in there, put a foil over it, make sure my probe's in a good spot, and just let it roll.
202?
At least.
And let it rest?
Yep. 202 or see where it's soft. It might be 210. But 202 is a good mark.
Well, you know July 4th is coming up.
It is, yeah. I think, you know what I think I'm going to do? Last time I did that rib recipe where I did the char grilling at the end of them.
Mm-hmm. It was like a Greek
yeah,
rib.
the spicy Greek rib. I want to do straight ribs. I want to see what they're like the whole way grilled like that. Just moving them, burning and turning them the whole time and see if I can get them to where they're edible.
I'm very excited about this.
I think it'll be good.
I love
But what I'm thinking, so I know I'll do a 2-zone fires. I'll have to have a safe side.
Yeah.
And so once you start getting them going, you can get them charred up, get them cooking, move them over if you need to, put the others over there. You're constantly just cycling them around, but it's just going to be like a, pit grilling a rib, basically is all it is.
Are you going to get you a towel and a cold drink?
Spray bottle and just go to it. If I get flame up, squirt it out, fan the fire. Give me some old head shoes and put on some music. We'll just be at the grill.
Old school barbecue ribs.
That's it.
I
don't even know if I'm going to make a barbecue style. I think I'm just going to do them. They're just going to be grilled, seasoned and grilled. I may have a mop where I'm dabbing them.
Yeah, with a vinegariness.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
little vinegary mop.
Because I want to eat it get the char flavor. I want a little vinegar. I want some salt.
Yeah, that's pretty much what you want.
That's it. Yeah.
Like that bishop's sauce that I like would make an excellent grilling mop like that. And because it's just salt, pepper, and vinegar. That's all it is. Maybe some lemon juice.
I'm loving
That's one, if y'all hadn't tried, y'all need to figure out where to buy that. It's called Bishop's. It's a old barbecue restaurant over in Alabama. My buddy Steve Chaney brings every time he goes back home. I guess he's from that away or somewhere, and he'll go back through there to visit family or something. He'll bring me a bottle of the sauce from there.
It is called 3-in-1 stuff.
That's it. 3-in-1 stuff. That's it.
So it says, shake me not, and I'll be cool. Shake me a little, and I'll be gentle. Shake me a lot, and I'll get hot. It
is true. Because all it is like salt, vinegar, lemon juice, and red pepper.
So it separates.
Yeah. You shake it up. If you shake it a lot, it gets all mixed around. That's when you really get the heat. But if you just tilt it over and get a little, it's mainly vinegar and salt.
What do you do?
Oh, I shake the crap out of it.
You get it good and spicy.
Yeah. That on pulled pork is like one of the finest things in life.
When it's a good, smoky, rich pulled pork, I agree.
You don't need anything else.
I agree. There's a whole Reddit forum about it.
About Bishop's 3-in-1 stuff? I didn't know that.
They got other ones.
Where can you buy it? Can you buy it directly from them?
There's one on Amazon.
Oh, okay. Oh, you can buy it on Amazon?
Yeah, but it's $22 for just the 12 fluid ounces.
Wow. That's pretty high.
Yeah, that's pretty high. I mean,
you're just buying vinegar and salt.
Yeah.
I haven't tried to make it. I need to try. I need to see if I can copy that. Figure out the ratio, how much salt you need to put to how much red pepper to get it right.
I bet you could.
I might try that this weekend. It's a good excuse to cook some pulled pork.
You cooking anything else this weekend?
Yeah. We've got, it's already time to start thinking fantasy football again.
It's not time to start thinking
fantasy football. Yes, it is. We have to do our draft lottery. This is where we do our lottery. We've got this little machine where you put the balls in it, and everybody gets so many balls by how you finished last year, and that determines our picking order. So that's happening this weekend.
It's the fake draft for your fake.
It's a fake draft for my fake football league. It's just an excuse to cook some stuff and hang out with the guys and drink some beer.
Exactly.
And start thinking about football.
Exactly.
We're wrapping up college baseball. NBA's wrapped up now. Hockey's going to be wrapped up soon.
We've been watching a lot of college baseball.
I love the tournament. The College World Series tournament, man, it's some good baseball.
You had this big plan that you were going to go sit at a bar and watch some baseball games and stuff, and then you got sick. So
yeah. I did take the TV out by the pool yesterday and watch a couple games. Midweek baseball, you can't beat that.
But it's wrapping up. Yeah, NBA's wrapping up. There's not going to be anything.
Celtics are the winners.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
We got hockey, Florida and Edmonton. That's been some good games. Then we're in that lull where I guess it's just baseball. And you got golf. I don't really watch golf on TV. I am kind of getting excited about the Olympics. I've been watching some swimming and some diving. They've been having those trials on, so I've seen some of that.
What do you cook to watch the Olympics?
I don't know. Definitely not barbecue. I think those people eat that stuff.
Hors d'oeuvres.
Maybe the weightlifters
Hors d'oeuvres,
do.
Yeah.
A lot of salad, a lot of greens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Malk, that's all I have for you today.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. We're going to get out of here.
All right.
I forgot how to end this thing. Tyler, what do we got going on in the community? We got a giveaway or anything happening?
We do. Head on over to facebook.com/group/H2Q community. We have our 4th of July giveaway going on right now. And we're pretty much just asking you to go in the comments of the top pinned post at the very top of the Facebook community and post just something you've barbecued this year. We just kind of want to see what y'all been up to, what y'all been throwing down on the grill. And we're going to choose 10 random commenters to get like our killer hog, what we're calling our Killer Hogs care package, hopefully just in time for the 4th of July and the
all
big
the
day.
Rubs, all the salsas.
We had to run that pretty quick because 4th of July is almost here.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's coming up quick.
Yep.
Right, I'm ready to blow some stuff up, put some stuff on the grill. Sounds like a great time, doesn't it? Well, Chelle, where can they find us?
If you'd like to connect with Malcolm, it's HowToBBQRight on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and of course YouTube. I guess it's X now. Whatever. And if you'd like to connect with me, it's Miss Southern Chelle on TikTok and Instagram.
You're not on X Twitter?
No.
Okay.
No, never started that.
Never started that.
I got to post some pictures of our vacation.
Yeah, I definitely want to post some of you. You get attacked by the monkeys. All right. Well, we will see y'all. We'll be back next week and we'll do it all again. Appreciate y'all hanging out. We gone.